sir, we've got some brand new eSports Boxing Club gameplay, courtesy to you from Steel City Interactive, that I can't wait to cover with you guys, so that way we can break down and take a look at this trailer. And I want to share with you guys my honest thoughts, my brutally honest thoughts on this game, and also the future of this franchise and a couple of other things. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so the first thing we notice here is on first impression, Terrence Crawford coming out of the blue corner. As you can definitely tell that they have done a good job on the lighting and camera angles here to begin with on the graphics. However, I do think overall with the character models, it seems to be a drop-off in quality from what I've seen in previous trailers. It almost looks a little PS 3.5-ish, but it could be me. It looks like I'm watching Fight Night Round 3 in a different camera angle. But the footwork looks great. You can see Terrence Crawford is moving around the ring. He is really got different steps, and you can see the fluidity in his movement. And you can see how he's shifting his arm in different positions. Like, you can really tell that they have really done a great job on the footwork. And right here, you'll see Terrence Crawford back Kell Brook into the corner and is just laying away all kinds of shots. And you can see that they have really done a good job improving the punches. The punching combination right now looks excellent, but there's still a huge flaw that I see in the punching mechanics, because as you can see, Terrence Crawford is doing a great job and the animations and everything look smooth when he's linking certain punches together. However, you get the sense that the other fighter, I think that's Brook in the corner, is no-selling all of the punches, meaning that there's no weight or no impact behind them. It looks really floaty. And honestly, it still makes the punching in ESBC look very janky, in my honest opinion. And you can definitely see that they're heading in the right direction, but yeah, they're definitely a long ways away from making the punches feel impactful and more weighty, and I think you really need that in the boxing game. Alright, so now it switches camera angles, and then you can see Terrence Crawford really dancing around the ring. And right there, see, that looked real good. That looked real good. I like how Terrence is shifting footwork from back to left, from left to right, from right to left, and then bang. Now see, you could tell that there's a little bit of impact to the punches, but I don't know, it's just off. Like, it needs more impact to the punch. It needs some oomph to it. Like, I don't know, that's the best way I can really describe it, is it just needs more oomph to it. But you can see that it did look good, and I liked how the camera switched angles and you can really see the sweat flying off. And you can really tell that it does have some sort of impact on the counter punches, and the combination punches that Crawford is throwing look great. But again, it just needs that oomph. Now right here, Crawford has his opponent backed up in the corner, and you can really see the improvement that Steel City has done when it comes to branching punching animations. You can see how seamlessly it transitions from Crawford's left hook to the body, left hook to the head, and then straight right to the face. It was very smooth, and you can tell that compared to previous trailers, there is a huge step up in animations, and it goes to show you that Steel City is taking the feedback very seriously, and I appreciate them for that. And then next it switches to another camera angle where you can see Crawford has got Gotti backed into the corner, and then he hits him in a great stun animation that looks very similar to Fight Night Round 3. And then you can see the flash on the jab whenever Gotti lands, which is pretty interesting. And the flow of the fight looks really solid here. Now let's pay attention to when Crawford gets his opponent to the corner and then bang! Now that looks really good right there. That punch that he lands on Gotti is fucking incredible. See, this gives me strong Fight Night Round 3 vibes right here, especially when the way the camera zooms in after he lands the shot. I definitely recall many Fight Night 3 experiences like this. It reminds me of when you land the haymaker on someone in round 3 and then it zooms into that camera angle. So I don't know, I'm feeling real nostalgic about that right now, and I love how they have that in ESBC. That is fucking great. Yeah, I like that a lot. And then the trailer concludes with Terrence Crawford finishing each of one of his opponents in the corner while he's just banging away, and you could definitely see the punching improvements in the animation, but there's just not any weight to the punches, especially with the way that he's just laying off of them. There's no power behind it, or it doesn't feel like there's enough power, that It really needs the That's all I can really tell you guys. It just needs some on the punches. ESBC, if you're Steel City Interactive, if you guys are watching this video, keep up the good work. You guys are definitely headed in the right direction. The only serious critique that I can say is that the no selling of the person that's on the recipient of the punches, that's got to change. Like, it's got to have that You got to have the punches feel more weighty, more impactful. I think you would get the player, the user, more satisfaction when they land a punch in the game. But other than that, you know, I think they're doing a good job. They're definitely improving in the right direction. I do think that the game still needs a lot of work before we get to a release. I think in my last video I said fall 2023. I think we might need to push that to winter 2023 or even 2024 possibly, because they really want to get this right, and it's evident in the improvements that they're making. However, we also need to curb our expectations for Esports Boxing Club, because we need to understand that this is a company that is making this game off of the strength of the fact that we haven't had a game in 11 years. So it's not going to be a AAA experience, and I think people are expecting that out of ESBC, and I don't think that's fair to them. And to give you what I mean by this and what this reminds me of is for my older heads out there, they probably know about all the Nintendo 64 games. You know, I'm talking about all the good ones, the WWF No Mercies and things like that, WCW Revenge. Y'all know what's up. What I believe this game is, ESBC, is like the WCW versus the world of that series. And what I mean by that is WCW versus the world was the first in the iteration of what they call the AKI or the Aki engine of wrestling games, which is known to be the gold standard of video game wrestling even to this day after 20 years. And WCW was the genesis of that, WCW versus the world. And the gameplay itself was very rough around the edges, but you could definitely tell that they were building a foundation that you could tell that they would build upon and improve year after year until it got to the point where it became that gold standard, which was No Mercy. But it had to have a start, and WCW versus the world and all of its janky beauty and glory was a rough start, but ended beautifully in a beautiful finish. And I say all that to say that ESBC is the very first game in what we hope to be a long-running series. So what I mean is that they're not going to get it completely right the first time. It's going to take some time. So they got to build upon what they've got. And with this iteration, don't expect a 10 out of 10 boxing game yet. They're working on it, but it's not there yet. So to answer that question, is Esports Boxing Club punching above its weight? I'll have to say yes. And the reason why I say that is that at this point, it feels like the budget of the game has been spent more towards getting these high name and big name boxers, but they've also need to inject more cash into the development, and I think that's what you're starting to see now. I think from what they had before, they were still building upon that, and they still are, but I do think that I think they're at least a year and a half away from release. And, you know, I would love to be a fly in the wall at Steel City Interactive, because this brings up my next important point, is that they have a shadow breathing down their neck on the pressure that we, the fans, are giving them for pushing out that early release. But what's even more important for them is, if I'm Steel City Interactive, not only do you have that pressure, but I know that they've got to be circling on their calendar the day that UFC 5 drops, because I do believe that when that happens, ESBC's days are numbered. And what I mean by that is that all it would take is for EA Sports to announce another fight night, and I don't know what it'll do for the momentum of that game. Because I'm telling you, despite the fact that ESBC is gaining good ground, the community still wants another fight night, and the brand itself still holds very, 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 very valuable weight to it. So with Project Moneyball going into full development after UFC 5 is finished, what this means is that the UFC team, all of the UFC team, is going to be pulled in to go all in on this new fight night game, allegedly. And what this means for Steel City is that they're still trying to build an engine from scratch, from the jump, on this being their very first game. I think in order to get the ESBC that we imagine or envision in our heads, it's going to take about 2 or 3 games for it to get there. It's not going to be on the first game, and that's just my brutally honest opinion. And the pressure that they feel from EA would be is, once that Fight Night project goes into development, I mean, you're already working with an existing engine in the Fight Night Champion engine, and you also pull the experience from what they've learned in the UFC games. And to be quite honest with you, I'm going to say it, I think that a new Fight Night game will probably be out before ESBC. I know that's going to be very controversial, and there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me on this, but EA can spend more time getting fighters that they need to market the game, and then going to Fight Night Champion and its engine and just modifying and tweaking a few things here and there, and then release it, and then there you go. You got a new boxing game. So again, ESBC and Steel City are really going to be on the clock after UFC 5's development is finished, because it's going to be sink or swim for them to get this game out here in the hands of players, and then just let the chips fall where they may. But as I said, they're definitely improving on the product, but they've got to get something out to us ASAP, or it could definitely hurt the development or hurt the reputation of the brand in the long run. What they run the risk of doing is they run the risk of going directly toe-to-toe with Fight Night, and I don't know, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you want to get ESBC out to us so that way we have something to play before the Juggernaut makes that announcement and kills any momentum. But those are my honest thoughts, guys. You guys let me know how you feel in the comments section about this new ESBC gameplay, and also the future of ESBC, and also the future of Fight Night, because things are really getting interesting. And if this Project Moneyball stuff is true, and the UFC 5 development is finished, and we're getting a new boxing game, we got a lot to talk about and a lot of good video game boxing to be had. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.